You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. I got this request a while ago from one of my clients by the name of Jed. I've been trying to answer it steadily because he asked me to do some more podcasts about relationships. And I was married for 17 years. I guess it put me over the 10-year mark of being a quasi-expert. But I have no level of expertise of what's going on in this new marketplace, and I call it a marketplace because that's what it is. I'm learning and I'm listening because I have friends that are out here and I'm out here, and I think the most confusing thing is that everything that occurred, 10 or 15, 20 years ago is not what's occurring now. The interpersonal dynamics of relationships, male, 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 female, 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 are very different. Excuse me. I don't even know all the names and designations of the genders and all that stuff. And I'll be quite honest, at 47 years old, getting ready to be damn near 50, and somebody who's an entrepreneur, I'm not interested in it, and I'm not learning all of it. And my parents aren't doing it either, and that's just what it is. I just want to be, wholesome to people and respect people. But to help this my man out, Jed, I want to say this. And I want to say what I said last time. I offer zero solutions. Excuse me. I just provide some of the situations or variables that are out here for people to talk about and to engage in some quality conversation with friends and loved ones. At Coffee with Rhadi, we're not trying to settle the problems of the world. We're just trying to sit down and have a cup of coffee in just different locations. It's just like I'm sitting down at my house with you, but you're just not with me. You're over there virtually. We're just rapping. We're just talking about some stuff. So the thing that I notice and what I hear a lot of my female friends say is they say stuff like, I'm not settling. They also say stuff like, I don't really have time for a man's feelings right now. I have to be concerned about my own feelings. And they do these things with the expectations of a man to engage them, chase them, and then cater to their particular feelings, while at the same time they say, I'm not concerned about his feelings. Basically, they're concerned about their own feelings, and then they want you to respect their feelings while not respecting the fact that you have feelings too. This is what I see. I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm not saying I'm incorrect. I'm just giving you my perspective from my purview, from my perch on top of the hill, if you will. I also see the frustration of men who are, I guess, they're trying to pursue women, and I think that they look at the way that the woman is wanting them to pursue as disrespectful, and not to sound Kevin Samuelish in the podcast, but I think they're looking at it in the marketplace of, hey man, this particular car that I'm buying is not as valuable as it was before because it's not a new car, it's a used car, but you want me to make the same pursuit as if the car was new. And on the opposite side of that, people aren't cars. Time plus experience equals wisdom. And people who are in the marketplace, when they have lived longer and they have more wisdom, they thus have also more value. But then there's what does one person evaluate that provides value to the relationship? Because a woman may look at a man and be like, I don't value the things that you bring, even though you may think you're valuable. And a man might look at a woman like, I don't value those particular things that you bring, even though I might think, even though you might be valuable. Now, I don't have the I don't have the list of what men value. I don't have that Kevin Samuels, what men value, blah, 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 blah. I don't have that. I believe that all persons have different things that they value in a relationship. Most people make their lists, or they have something in their head, or they have some imperatives or wants and needs from a person. They usually fall under the umbrellas of finance and romance, with certain branches that come off those particular trees, and they find or they're looking to find someone who meets those particular things that they want, and then usually there's some type of moral bucket that the person must fit in, or some type of religious space that the person fits in to make it a good match. What makes things very difficult in this particular space is that people have lives to attend to, especially those people who are in the dating space, who were in the marriage space before. Those individuals who have the love language of physical touch find themselves feeling like they're abandoned or emotionally barren because they don't have anybody to physically touch them that they are involved with or romantically involved with 3, 4, 5 times a week. So this is what happens, and I'm just telling you from what I see in the marketplace is some individuals have lives where they cannot break away to make those physical touches with people. They are then relegated with physical or romantic touch of 3 to 4 times a month, or on the weekends if they can. And then what happens is those individuals who need more physical touch or need more attention, then they outsource their needs to other sources. When they outsource their needs to other sources, the first thing that we hear in the marketplace is that, and this usually happens on the male is now narcissistic because he has a need for this overabundance of attention that he was used to getting in a certain setting, but he's not getting anymore because he's either divorced or single in this particular space and place. People have children, jobs, responsibilities, mortgages, etc. And they can't commingle the houses because that's just something that people aren't willing to do a lot at this particular time. So we're in this space, and let me say this about the whole, I have a problem with the following terms. I have a problem with the term toxic. I have a problem with the term trauma, and I have a problem with the term narcissism because I believe they're overused. I have a problem with the term narcissism because everybody uses narcissism, but nobody is a trained psychiatrist or psychologist to diagnose anybody. I also have a problem with trauma because everybody experiences trauma, and you can't go through life without trauma. And every relationship that you don't agree with, or everything that you don't agree with, can't be termed as toxic. If it's not good for you, it's just not good for you. It doesn't mean that it falls in the bucket of toxicity. It's just not good for you. That's my TED talk on that. So let me move back to what I'm talking about in the relationship space is that it seems to be difficult to find a good match when people believe that let me say it the right way. They believe that sacrificing is settling. And I had this conversation with one of my clients the other day when she was like, I'm not settling. I said, well, everybody's settling. I said, because somebody has to settle for you. I said, if you don't present the way that somebody enjoys people to present, if you don't look a certain way, if you don't, if you don't have certain things, I said, they got to settle. They got to find out what are the things that I need and what are my imperatives, and does she have the imperatives, and if she has the imperatives, those are going to be good enough for me, and I got to be satisfied with that. And then they're going to settle. Because everybody out here is going to settle. So when you say I'm not going to settle, what you're saying is I don't want to sacrifice. And everybody has to sacrifice. Because self-sacrifice, self-abnegation, and self-conceit, those are the foundational tenets that have to be in place for a friendship or a love relationship to exist. If we look at the Christian theoretical framework, is that the highest point of love that we have is no greater love than a man has than a man who will lay down his life for his friend. So the greatest love that we possibly have is one of sacrifice. So if we're not going to put sacrifice in the game, where you have to actually sacrifice portions or pieces of yourself, then there's no winning. You're reduced to what? To physical touches and playing genital tag when you want to. And people who enjoy the genital tag game, they're cool until you're the one that's it. And when you're the one that's it, then you're trying to chase somebody else to tag. And it's no fun when you're running around trying to chase somebody else to tag and there's nobody to tag. I mean, it's cool when somebody's running after you, but it's not cool when you're the one doing all the running. And I think in this space and place and time, in the genital tag game, nobody wants to be it. Nobody wants to be running around chasing other people to play tag when there's people who are sitting down saying, pick me. That's all I got for you. I think a lot of us overestimate our value in the marketplace. A lot of us underestimate our value in the marketplace. And I think a lot of us say stuff like, I think I'd just rather be alone. And that sounds great until you talk to somebody who's 70 and 80 and alone. I don't have any advice for you. I just got things that you can talk about with another person over a cup of coffee. Hopefully you pass this on to a friend and you guys have some stuff that you guys can talk about. That's all I got for you. Take care. This is Dr. Ferguson. And remember, I love you, but God loves you best.
You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, 4-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.